Hey everyone, Ryan Balmes here. Thank you for watching and listening into the Ryan Balmes podcast, where it is my intention and goal to help clinicians enjoy and get better at their clinical practice. In today's episode, episode 5, my favorite number by the way, let's talk about our title. Let's talk about our doctor title. Long story short, start calling yourself a doctor. I'm dead serious about this, and you really should. You have a clinical doctorate. And in the realms of society, if you have one, you could call yourself one. Now, does that mean you should start calling yourself that with your friends and family? Yeah, jury's still out. I don't do so. But in the clinic, where that is your realm, that is where you operate, go ahead and call yourself doctor. Now, I think the obvious is that as you're building rapport and you're working with a patient, and obviously you'll see them more than once, the formalities start to drop. And I think that's okay. That is okay. But off that first go on the initial evaluation, when I walk up to meet my patient or the new patient, I introduce myself and say, hello, Mr. Balmes, or hello, Mr. Balmes. I'm Dr. Ryan Balmes, your physical therapist today. Are you ready to get started? And that's how I go. It just rolls off the tongue. I don't feel weird about it. It felt weird at the first go. But really, patients won't really think too much about it. And if anything, for a lot of patients, it puts them at ease that, oh, I'm seeing a doctor. Now, notice I said that here in Georgia, if you refer to yourself as a doctor outside of an MD, you do have to represent yourself correctly. So if I said I'm Dr. Ryan Balmes, I can't leave it like that. I have to say Dr. Ryan Balmes, physical therapist. It sounds like a mouthful. But as you get practicing, it actually gets a lot better. You could even say and just shorten it. I'm Dr. Balmes. I'll be your physical therapist today. It keeps it clear cut. And here in the statutes or rules with Georgia, that's something we have to do. You'd have to check with your own state laws and rules as to how you could refer to yourself with that. It even goes the same with name tags. Again, it's dependent on a company culture. If you put Dr. Balmes, physical therapist on the bottom. But you should feel 1,000% comfortable to call yourself doctor. Now, I will admit I did not call myself that from the first get when I first graduated, and it really only came upon until maybe 3-4 years out. I know it sounds almost hypocritical to tell you that you could say it, but from looking back in terms of with my practice, when you look back in terms of how much you know, the training that you've gone through, compared to what else is out there on the market, and I say market, not just healthcare professionals, but just in the market of where else they could go, you are well equipped to call yourself doctor. You are well equipped to treat that patient and help them with their musculoskeletal care and disorder. And so because of that, I think it's totally appropriate to introduce yourself once if you'd like. You don't have to make everyone else call you doctor from all the time, but I think that first go is really important. It really, really is. In a professional setting, it's just important to let them know this is where I'm at, and I think it almost levels up your practice. It will also level up the amount of responsibility expected of you, and maybe I think ultimately that's where some people shy away. They're not sure if they're ready to take on that responsibility, but guess what? You are a doctorate level profession in most states, if not all. You have direct access. People could go to you for professional advice without seeing a medical doctor. That's a huge responsibility. It's one of the reasons why we get licensed, is so that we're safe and that we're not going to hurt anyone. And so if you have any doubt, hear me out on this. You are well equipped to see patients. You are well equipped with the knowledge and research-based and evidence-based knowledge on how to help. And yes, go ahead and take on that responsibility. Our time is now. Our time is now to take on these big problems. Our time is now to do the differential diagnosis to even see if they're appropriate from a direct access standpoint. The time is now. It is time to start acting, looking, talking like a doctoring profession. And when you look at the grand scale of professions, or at least grand scale of education levels, doctorate is the highest level. You have achieved the highest level of training, and you should never sell yourself short with that. Now, this is going to even go true for new grads if you even haven't done a residency or fellowship. I know a lot of what you may be thinking is just uncertainty or am I even worth it? Well, you passed the DPT program, you passed licensure board, you've earned it. Now, as to whether you feel like you've earned it or you feel confident, I think it's totally fine to refer to yourself as that and you don't feel too confident. It's perfectly fine. You could think of it in terms of medical residents for medical doctors. They still refer to themselves as Doctor So and So, or they have it on their tag Doctor So and So, even though they're still a resident. And so, I would suggest and recommend to start referring to yourself as doctor. Introduce to yourself as doctor. Practice it. You'll get a while. Before you know it, you'll start to just say it. It'll roll off your tongue, and really set the tone and set the stage from the get go with your initial evaluation patients that you're seeing someone as the expert of musculoskeletal care. It's time to live up to that. It's time to take on that responsibility. Don't shy away from it. It is a responsibility that is a heavy burden, but it's one that comes with many, many benefits to the patients and to the society that we serve. So that's it. That's my take on doctor. Call yourself doctor, please. If you want to do it on Twitter, sure. I think I do. I think I have it on my Twitter handle too. But yeah, let's start really living and acting and looking the part of being a doctoring profession. All right. Well, that's the episode on that. Again, I'm Ryan Balmes. Thank you for listening to the Ryan Balmes podcast. Like and subscribe on the YouTube channel. Subscribe on the podcast. Tweet at me if you have any questions. Leave in the comments below if you have any questions on the YouTube channel. And again, share with 3 of your colleagues who you think would benefit from this podcast and YouTube channel. Talk to you guys on the next one. Bye.